Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have a review of the DJI Osmo Mobile 17. By the way, this P in the name could stand for Pro, since there is also the Osmo Mobile 7, a simpler version that does not include the multifunctional module and also does not have extendable arm. But before going into details, let's talk about the price. This device had a launch price in Mexico of 3,799 pesos. Converted to dollars, it is approximately 190. Although, remember that the prices here are not the same as over there. But once we have known the price, let's talk about more aspects. When you open the box, this is what you find. The Osmo Mobile P. Also a magnetic clamp for the phone, a multifunctional module. Also a power cable from USB-C to USB-C of 50 centimeters. And another cable also from USB-C to USB-C but of 15 centimeters to charge your cell phone or connect the multifunctional module to the phone and use it as audio recording. In addition, I have a storage bag to store all the contents in, ensuring everything is well packed and ready to use. The stabilizer comes with a compact design, and in this case, it is also foldable. This feature makes it very comfortable to carry around and extremely light. It weighs 368 grams, which is slightly heavier than what we observed in previous models. In fact, personally, I found myself getting a little tired when I was recording in selfie mode due to the natural positioning of the camera. The stabilizer indeed comes with the arm, but when you're shooting using the rear cameras, I believe you won't get too tired. The stabilizer is constructed with durable materials and features an extendable arm that reaches a length of 21.5 centimeters. This, in theory, should allow for better framing. However, I must mention that during my tests, I observed that when using the front camera, it can be somewhat challenging to properly frame the face. There tends to be too much space above, and the stabilizer struggles to adjust its rotation adequately. This issue can be resolved by placing your cell phone upside down, although the motors would block part of the screen. Alternatively, you could record yourself using the rear cameras of your phone. This method would provide superior image quality, but you wouldn't have a viewfinder to see what you're capturing. Therefore, I think using the stabilizer to record yourself might not be the most comfortable option. However, if you're filming someone else standing in front of you, it offers a very good experience. Consider that this not only has an extendable arm, but it also includes an integrated tripod through its legs. Honestly, the mechanism seems quite ingenious to me because it doesn't take up too much space and you can use it with ease. Actually, at the bottom, and there is another thread that you can utilize to mount the stabilizer onto any other type of accessory. Therefore, for shooting scenes that are more static, it could be quite useful to remain within the frame. If you activate the intelligent tracking feature and place the stabilizer on a table or on the floor, it becomes quite useful. For instance, if you're looking to record a time-lapse of a sunset or capture the movement of people in general, the quality of the footage will be quite good. The magnetic clamp is designed to hold phones with a thickness ranging from 6.9 to 10 millimeters and a width from 67 to 84 millimeters. It supports phones weighing between 170 to 300 grams, which means it can perfectly accommodate very heavy or large phones. Additionally, being magnetic makes it easy to remove your cell phone comfortably if you need to check something, make a call or anything else and then put it back. It's really that simple. That's a very positive feeling. Track 70, which enhances subject tracking, making it perfect for recording sports or kids running around as it reacts quickly and efficiently. With the DJI Mimo app, you have the ability to use additional recording modes such as time-lapse or dynamic zoom. These are perfect for capturing creative landscape shots, street transitions, and more. However, these features are something we've already seen in previous generations. What truly stands out in this new generation is the multifunctional module. Firstly, it allows you to activate smart tracking without needing to use the DJI Mimo app. This means you can make transmissions with ease. You can record live or record from any application you prefer, such as Instagram, TikTok, or your own native camera, and the stabilizer will keep the correct framing automatically following the subject without losing sight of it. Previously, to use the smart tracking, it was necessary to have the DJI Mimo app open. But with this multifunctional module, you gain this option without too much effort. And it must be said that the module can be placed facing that way, or you can also reverse it and perfectly. You can also activate it in front mode. Then there is the integrated LED light adjustable from 2500 to 6000 Kelvin. which gives you flexibility to illuminate scenes in different conditions, from a warm tone to a cooler tone, without the need for extra equipment. So if you usually record in different environments or you are very nocturnal in your recordings, this module will also help you a lot. And finally, the audio connection, as this module includes a receiver for the wireless microphones from DJI. Among content creators, DJI microphones are likely the most popular devices you'll find. You'll notice that to use them, you typically need to connect a receiver to your iPhone or cell phone. However, in this scenario, you do not need to connect an extra receiver. This multifunctional module already has the receiver integrated. You would just connect the multifunctional module to your cell phone using the USB-C cable included in the box, and that's it. No additional connections are necessary. It supports 2 wireless microphones, which means that the experience is going to be really nice when you decide to use this accessory for creating your content. Let me demonstrate in real time how it works. I've already installed the stabilizer here, so I'll show you that in this instance we're using the native iPhone camera app. This way, you can see how the smart tracking no longer depends on the DJI Mimo app. In fact, we could manually rotate the stabilizer, but observe how simply making the palm gesture frames me. Notice that wherever I move, the device will automatically rotate at an excellent speed to keep me constantly in the frame. It's important to note that there are instances where I might move out of the frame if I exceed the stabilizer's rotation capabilities. However, as soon as I step back into the scene, I am immediately brought back into the frame to recognize, and in this particular instance by default, it typically offers a slightly higher framing. That is to say, it usually works this way. However, after you activate the automatic framing, you have the option to adjust specifically how you wish it to behave, and it will remain in that configuration. Now observe this. By double-clicking the rotate button, we have the ability to change whether we want to use this vertical format now. In fact, it retains the automatic framing feature, enabled although once again with a bit more of a... There's a small amount of space at the top, but you have the ability to modify all the behavior using the joystick to enhance the framing in a manner you like, and it continues to rotate like this. Clearly, if you wish to utilize the advanced controls for zoom and various other features, you'll need the DJI Mimo app. However, there are certainly benefits to employing the multifunction module. If you decide to disable the tracking, you can once more display the palm of your hand, and via the LED, the color changes to red, as you can see. The same multifunctional module has this button that allows you to regulate the additional lighting with 3 different levels that will vary depending on how many times you press the button. Very useful for recording in dark environments. It is definitely a lighting that helps a lot. But now see how from the DJI Mimo application we can configure the behavior of the stabilizer, also the behavior of the multifunctional module. For instance, we have the option to adjust the tracking speed if we desire to respond even quicker. Additionally, we can set up the gestures if we wish to activate or deactivate them. Besides the palm gesture, which allows you to activate tracking, there's also another gesture that lets you activate a sort of timer. As you can observe, this is also compatible with the native camera application. Notice it starts flashing the LED, then launches the picture. You can also link wireless mics via the screen, but it's not essential for the app, as you can also pair them by holding their link buttons on both the receiver and transmitter. As for the stabilizer functions, you can quickly switch between 2 tracking modes here. You can calibrate the stabilizer if the motors seem off. Ideally, place it on a flat table and press the calibration button. You can also adjust the wheel's behavior. By default, it controls zoom, and with the iPhone, the interaction is super fast, nice and fluid. With Android, it's a bit less fluid, but it still responds well. I don't know if you are noticing on the camera the movement that you are doing on the wheel, but now you are seeing it in more detail. But as I tell you, we can change the behavior of this side wheel so that it drives the focus, or we can disable its use altogether. In fact, in addition to turning this wheel, we can tap on it, and with that we could change the focus. For example, let's tap on it and notice that it's going to change now to a focus control mode so that you can manually adjust the focus. The focus can be adjusted using this control. Additionally, through the settings menu, you have the option to modify what occurs when you press the shift button 3 times in succession. 1, 2, 3. By default, this action toggles between photo mode and video mode. However, you have the flexibility to set up shortcuts that, when activated, will display options on the screen. Using the joystick, you can then swiftly change to another mode if desired. You can adjust the joystick speed and control. By default, it adjusts horizontally and vertically, but you can select free mode. You can also reverse the joystick direction. I prefer reversing the vertical axis because I often get confused by the opposite response. Fortunately, it lets you change the joystick behavior and reverse the side wheel direction too. You see here on the stabilizer, there is an M button. This button allows us to switch between different stabilization modes. It also changes the indicator displayed on this small screen. In fact, through the application, it provides explanations about what each of these stabilization modes is used for. For instance, you can see there, it explains the pan and tilt tracking mode. Then it also describes how other modes function, like those where the rotation changes. Additionally, there is another mode where you can adjust the tilt through specific settings. The joystick, along with the traditional mode, which, as you can observe, will not rotate even if you are moving the stabilizer in this manner. Therefore, you can choose which mode you prefer it to function in while you are utilizing the stabilizer. Additionally, on the back there is a trigger, and if you hold it down, you will notice that it practically locks in that direction. So, regardless of how you move the stabilizer, the camera will remain locked in that direction. When you release the trigger, finally, the stabilizer reacts back, so generally speaking, that's what we observe with the options available on the stabilizer, especially when used with your application. However, as you can see, it's also accessible through any other application via the multifunctional module. Let's take a quick look at some other scenes I recorded using the stabilizer. In this instance, I'm using the iPhone 16 Pro. Here, we're testing the stabilization capabilities of this Osmo. I've enabled the face track feature, so even if I move to other sides, it will always keep me in the frame. That's something positive. I'm going down some stairs, and I think the video quality is very good. It's a little tiring to go holding the device like that. That would be a point against. But more or less, this is the quality that is giving me in terms of stabilization. Obviously, the image quality will depend entirely on the device that we are using to record, is what we find at the level of the stabilizer. In this situation with the arm fully extended, although extending it to its maximum creates a significant amount of air at the top. Perhaps that could be improved. But let's attempt using the rear camera. See, now I am recording with the ultra-wide camera, and in that case I can have the device positioned slightly higher and it frames me well. But I cannot see what is there, what the framing is, but it is also a solution to record in this manner. And as I mentioned, I can lower it today. It lost a little bit. We will see. If it finds me once more, there we are. Yes, alright. It had lost a little bit of focus when I moved it. But as you can see, this would be the quality of the recording with the ultra-wide camera. Is this with the iPhone 16 Pro? In this instance, I'm just walking and now we're going to start running. And what do you think? Obviously here we combine the stabilization that the iPhone already has with the digital stabilization, or rather optical stabilization that we achieve with this device. At times it got lost. I don't know if you noticed when I did like the flip, but more or less this is the quality. And this would be with the front camera. Let me adjust a little bit. It's almost always very high. There it is, more or less. This would be the result of the stabilization. It's pretty good. It costs it. I find it somewhat annoying to frame with the front camera. You have to constantly try to adjust the stabilizer properly. So, generally speaking, I think you'll end up using the back camera to achieve a better frame. You really need to search quite a bit to find the best framing. This is the same situation, but now in horizontal format to have this reference too. However, it's still the same issue with the front camera. It's a bit more complicated to get a good frame, and it usually leaves a lot of empty space. Oh, there it is. I think that's better. And well, it is also a bit tiring to hold the device like this, but more or less, this would be the image quality. And well, this would be more or less the image quality with the ultra-wide camera, now in horizontal format, which I would see it more convenient when recording your videos. Although it will look weird that people see you as you are recording, but Yes, it is weird to record like this, isn't it? It looks good. I mean that I do not see anything, and those behind me see everything. But there it is. This would be more or less the result recording in this way. The battery is 3,350 milliamperes and promises 10 hours of use, although this in a static scenario and without accessories. Obviously, the more moves you make, the faster the battery will wear out, but I think it will last for a day of recording. Unfortunately, it really doesn't matter. It integrates fast charging just like we've seen in other DJI devices. So, in this particular case, we will notice that it charges in roughly 2.5 hours when using a 10-watt USB-C charger, which, by the way, is not included in the box. An interesting fact to note is that you could actually use the battery of this stabilizer as a power bank to charge your cell phone through the USB-C port. However, this is much more intended for an emergency charge, since it won't provide you with fast charging or anything similar. But if suddenly after a long day of recording you find that your cell phone battery is depleted and you urgently need to make a call, you can make use of this energy. Please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this stabilizer. I personally consider it a valuable tool for creating content. However, as I mentioned earlier, if you intend to record in selfie mode while holding the stabilizer, it might have some minor inconsistencies that I haven't been too fond of, but it's great for other types of recordings. I consider it to be a really positive tool. For now, we have come to the conclusion of this video, and I truly hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know you can let us know, and we will definitely see you in the next one.